Did you know Armenia once had an empire so powerful it could stand up to ancient Rome? And at the center of it all was one king, Tigran the Great. Tigran wasn't just a king, he was a dreamer, a fighter, and a leader who took a small kingdom and turned it into a superpower. But like all big dreams, his came with risks. How did Tigran build such a huge empire? And why did it all come crashing down? Let me tell you the story. It's one you won't forget. Tigran was born into a tough world. Armenia at the time wasn't very strong. It was surrounded by powerful enemies, the Parthians in the east and the leftovers of Alexander the Great's empire in the west. Armenia was stuck in the middle, and things were rough. When Tigran was young, he was sent to live in Parthia as a hostage. Back then, this was normal. Powerful empires would take royal kids from smaller nations to make sure their families didn't rebel. Sounds intense, right? But instead of breaking him, it made Tigran smarter. While in Parthia, he learned their tricks, how to fight wars, make deals, and manage power. When Tigran finally became king in 95 BCE, he wasn't like the rulers before him. He had big dreams and he wasn't afraid to chase them. Tigran's first move as king was super smart. He gave a piece of land to the Parthians. At first, this might sound like a bad deal, but it bought him something priceless, peace. With the Parthians off his back, Tigran could focus on something bigger, growing Armenia, and grow it he did. He started conquering lands all around Armenia. He took parts of modern-day Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. His empire became so big that people called it the land of three seas, the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, and the Mediterranean. At its peak, Tigran's empire was one of the strongest in the ancient world. He also built a brand new capital city called Tigran. This wasn't just any city, it was massive, with grand palaces, theaters, and markets full of traders from all over the world. Tigran wanted this city to show everyone how powerful and important Armenia had become. Tigran didn't do this alone. He teamed up with Mithridates VI of Pontus, another king who hated Rome. Together, they became a serious problem for the Romans. But as we all know, Rome wasn't a fan of problems. Tigran's empire was huge, but being on top comes with enemies. Rome, the most powerful empire of the time, wasn't happy about Armenia getting so big. They decided to put Tigran in his place. In 69 BCE, a Roman general named Lucullus led an army straight into Tigran's empire. His target, Tigranocerta, the shiny new capital city. When the Romans attacked, things didn't go well for Tigran. Some of the people in the city, who had been forced to live there, turned against him. The Romans crushed Tigran's army and captured the city, but Tigran wasn't done yet. He retreated into the mountains where the Romans had a hard time following him. Even after this defeat, he kept fighting. Later, another Roman general, Pompey the Great, came after him. This time, Tigran made a smart choice. Instead of losing everything in a fight, he made a deal with Pompey. Tigran gave up his empire, but was allowed to keep a smaller part of Armenia. It wasn't the ending he had hoped for, but at least he saved his people. There's a story about Tigran that shows what kind of leader he really was. During the siege of Tigran, he had a tough choice. He could keep fighting and risk the lives of everyone in the city, or he could surrender and save them. Tigran chose to protect his people. He made a deal with the Romans to let the people of Tigran leave the city safely. Not every king would do that. A lot of rulers back then cared more about their pride than their people. But Tigran's decision shows he wasn't just about power. He cared about the lives of his people too. Tigran's empire didn't last, but his story sure did. To Armenians, he's a hero, a reminder of a time when Armenia was one of the strongest nations in the world. Even today, his name stands for ambition, bravery, and leadership. Tigran the Great teaches us that big dreams come with risks. Sometimes you win big, and sometimes you lose. But what matters is how you lead, how you treat your people, and how you're remembered. So what do you think about Tigran? Was he a hero, a dreamer, or maybe a bit of both? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around for more amazing history stories. Thanks for watching.